Hello everyone. So in this program, we'll take a list which contains marks in five subjects. We'll calculate the average. If the average is 85 or above, the student will get the scholarship. If the average is between 75 and 85, then the student will be on a waiting list. And if the average is below 75, the student will not be eligible. So the program should have a function to calculate average of the marks. It's a completely modular program. So define calculate average to calculate the average. There is no, okay, so instead of using any direct function, what we are doing is we are calculating sum of all the elements in the list divided by length of the list. That will give us the average. Marks is the list basically, and it is better to use a list instead of exact number of subjects, because now there are five subjects. Sometimes there might be one subject more, one subject less. So to adjust all that, we have just given a list can contain any number of subject marks. List is a better parameter. Then we have to determine the scholarship. Now, firstly, are all the marks in the list valid? So for mark in marks, if mark is less than 0 or mark is greater than 100, we are performing validation. So we simply pass. This is a placeholder for future error handling logic. Like for example, we can raise value error, we can raise type error, or you can create your own exception and raise that. Raise invalid marks exception, for example. Okay. Right now, we are just writing pass over here because it's a placeholder. It will not cause any error. Okay. And we can return none, comma, invalid marks. So this function returns two things. First is none, and second is the string invalid marks. Now, in this function itself, in determine scholarship, we call calculate average function to calculate the average of the marks. And if average is greater than equal to 85, then the status is eligible for scholarship. Else if, okay, elif. Now, here, can we simply say instead of, uh, okay, instead of, okay, this condition is redundant because average greater than equal to 85 is false. That's why we come to else. So else if is combined into elif. Elif, we already know that marks are not greater than equal to 85, so they are less than 85, but are they greater than or equal to 75? Then status is waiting list. So average marks, if they are greater than equal to 75, then status is waiting list, else the status is not eligible. And here we return average comma status. So that's why in the exception case as well, we had to return two things. In place of average, we return none in that case, and in place of status, we return invalid marks. Okay, so status is the string eligible for scholarship, waiting list, not eligible, or invalid marks, and average is the average marks calculated by the calculate average method, or it can be none if the marks are not valid. Finally, we can run this with multiple test cases. Okay, so depending on whatever the average is, we are using format strings. So in format string point one f, average 1. Okay, average 1 comma status 1 is determined scholarship, marks 1, and this will be printed over here. We have mentioned the formatting option as point one f. That means there will be only one digit after the decimal place, and status string will also be printed over here. Similarly, for the second test case and for the third test case, we are printing the input marks, we are printing the output. Okay, and we are also checking whether average is not none. That is making sure that the marks are valid. If the marks are not valid, which is in this case, then we'll get the appropriate message. Then we'll not try to print the average or status using the if statement. We'll print it using the format string in the else statement. Okay, so I hope the question and its solution was clear to you. If you have any questions, any doubts, do post them in the comments below. Thanks for watching.